All right, we are back, and we're at the point we're putting this mag release in our blue build here. So we've got the blue mag release, and in case you're wondering, on this takedown parts kit, the bottom spring is the mag release. I should have mentioned some of these earlier. The two detents, or the takedown pin detents, it does have, these look like the same pins that were used in the trigger. Not sure what this roll pin was for, but the roll pin might be for the trigger guard, but slowly identifying pieces of the lower parts kit. All right, so we've got this mag release. Here's the side that's going to go over here. We've got the button, and our button, also this button has a little blue cap on it. So we've got that screw out, and the button will make sure we put the threaded part for the cap on the outside. So then we've got our spring, and that's the way that bad boy goes together. So we'll start out, we'll just drop this thing in. So that's where that goes. And I'll kind of hold on to it on the back side. I'm going to drop the spring in, and you can see that that takes a little bit of push to get that down there. So our button holding the back, and we'll get our button hopefully started here with a couple turns, a couple threads. Feels like we got it threaded. That's about as much as we can turn that. So I need to think about this button here, which way it goes. So this looks like it goes back on here. It looks like it slides on. There we go. So it'll slide on. And yeah, that makes sense to have that backwards. So this is going to point this way. So back to getting this. We got it just initially started with the threads. I'm just going to line it up so I can now push this through this way and maybe get another turn or two on the button, and then that's in there. Now that definitely clears it. That definitely comes back. I might see if I can get another, actually I'm gonna put this little cap on first, and then I might get another turn on the other side. I don't have any magazine here, which is probably a faux pas, but here, let's get this little screw started. And again, this is probably a Loctite moment, but since it's the first time I've ever done this, I don't want to do the Loctite until I know I'm doing it right, and then I can go back and just Loctite a couple of the little screws, bolts. Just make that a little hand tight there. All right, so now I'm going to push this, and that's as far. It doesn't come out any further. Looking at the catch, I'll definitely have to see with a magazine how it works and make sure it's functional, but it looks like it clears it. So I'm thinking that's going to be okay. All right, that is that. We're going to make this one, since that was so easy, we're going to do the trigger guard as well. So all this stuff came from Tactical Galaxy or somewhere, and at least they gave you all the little pieces and parts, as well as the little Allen wrenches that match. All right, so we've got trigger guard, which looks like we've got two screws, two little bolts, and a roll pin. So obviously the roll pin goes in the front, and there's two spots for little screws in the back. So let's take a look at this side. And this probably just fits right in there. And I think that roll pin goes in the front there. These go in the back. So we may as well put one of these screws in and see if that's the case. Does not seem like they're very long. Pretty small little screws. Let me just double check. Maybe I got it the wrong way. That does not seem right. Now, interesting, as I'm looking at it, this one has the threads. It's threaded on both sides. So that's definitely going there. So my threaded screw is going here, but on this lower, there's no hole in that front side. So that's what threw me off, thinking that it would go in the other way. But let's put one in and see if we can get that screwed in. That definitely screwed in. Okay, so I'm not gonna make it too tight because I want to make sure I got this lined up perfectly for the roll pin. Just barely tight. And then here's our roll pin, which is going to go in there. And I did buy this other little roll pin starter. It should be one of these. Which should help either maybe get it started, but it may be too small. It's definitely a bigger roll pin than any of these starters. So I might have wasted some money there. But this Real Avid has a little roll pin alignment tool like that, which I should be able to tap this in and get her started. But I'm going to put a little towel down. And then we'll tap this sucker in, see if we can get it started. Just leave a little bit out. Feels like that went in a little. Still all lined up. That's good. And let me find a roll pin punch. This is a little bit bigger. I could probably use a smaller one. Although I should probably use the flat. Just getting it started. This one's almost like you just want to use a big flat one. And this is like a plastic one, so that's good for not marring things up. Almost got it through. There's still a little room on the other side. Has just a hair of room on the other side. Let's tap that with this one more tap. Perfect. Okay, that's in there good. Take this out of the way, and we're going to tighten this one up. Okay, that's good and tight. And we didn't need that extra piece. So out of our build now, and this was the lower parts kit I got just to have things I might be missing. But it looks like what was in here was a mag release, a safety, the mag release button, the 2 takedown pins, the 2 detents, the roll pin that I just put in for the trigger guard, some trigger pins, and these were our 2 springs that we already had with our for our buffer tube and for the forward takedown pin. And this was the catch, or the buffer tube pin spring was somewhere in there. No, this larger one was the one we just did with the mag release. But one of those is I think I actually used the buffer tube pin or spring from the takedown kit, but that's all I had to use. All right, so we got a mag release, we got a trigger, we got a safety, which works. We got our handle, it's looking good, looking like a lower. And I think that kind of completes our lower parts build of this blue, beautiful AR15. Next, we're going to move on to the upper, and got that off to the side here. That's going to be this nice, cool blue upper is going to go into this. So we'll build this up. This should be pretty quick, but we'll also be putting the barrel on, and it's going to start looking like a real thing. All right, thanks for watching. Subscribe, hit like. We'll see you next time. All right, if you enjoyed the videos, thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button and you'll be notified as soon as the next ones come out. Have a good one.